Hello everybody, and welcome to a quick look at Minecraft Snapshot 15W32. We've had 3 separate snapshots so far this week. We're on the C update. Unlike normal, they've actually added features with each consecutive update, which is interesting and also made it a bit complicated to record this video. I ended up delaying it. But nevertheless, here we are, and we are on the tile screen for a reason, because they have actually added a new feature to the world select screen, which is pretty nice. It now has these icons like you have in the server list, and whenever you play in your world and exit, it'll save a screenshot. I believe that's how it decides when to do it, but now you can kind of just see what the world looks like from there, and you can also click this button to start the world. It's very nice looking and much better than the old one, and that means if you click that, it automatically starts, but you can still click here to get all these options as well. So it's a little faster to click that if you want to get in-game so fast and save a fraction of a second. But also, you probably already saw, they've added version tracking to the world. So now the world keeps track of the last version you played in. If you try to load a world that's been loaded in 32C and 32A, it'll have a confirmation box. This will be in red. There'll be a little exclamation mark here. It's really a major thing, and it tells you to back up your world if you try to load a world in a new snapshot that might not be compatible. So this should hopefully prevent people from losing some of their worlds to buggy snapshots, because some people will load their primary world with no backups into a snapshot, and then that's it. That snapshot has a glitch, their world's dead. So that's definitely a nice little security feature they have. And let's go ahead and actually log into this world and look at the relatively small list of features they've added. Now, as you can see, I have a scoreboard here, and it goes up whenever I'm sneaking. That is a new statistic they track now, which can be used, most likely, it can be used as a thing to check if somebody's holding down their sneak button. So it probably has quite a few uses with command blocks and map making in general. It's probably going to be very useful. Not so much useful for use in a scoreboard, though. I'm not sure why you would want to track that for that, but that's not really the point of most statistics, to be fair. Now, these are sitting here because they did add a cool new feature that actually gives a use to these items. Now, not to the Wither Skeleton, that's why it's not here, but if you wear these hats, then the respective mob, so if you wear a zombie head, then a zombie, it will not attack you quite as fast. You'll have to get closer. And this combines with the effects from invisibility and sneaking as well. So if you had all 3 of those, you could probably get fairly close to one of these 3 and not get attacked. So it's very nice to have a use for those. And now there's something besides a helmet that you might want to put on your head. So it's very nice. But that is not all. They also added a new scoreboard tagging feature, which isn't really scoreboard related, honestly. It's a way to add basically a data tag to any player on your server. So, like, if you want to add the tag cheese to someone, you just do the command, you add /scoreboard, players, and it's tag all the way down here, and you use that to add the tag, and then you can use it as a selector to maybe give all players with the cheese tag something, and that definitely has potential. It's saved to the player's data file on your server, so it's not a scoreboard thing necessarily. It just runs through the scoreboard command for whatever reason. So it definitely has a lot of potential to basically save data to a player. I mean, one way you could use it is you could like add an admin tag to admins, and then you could use a command block that lets admins get an item but nobody else. I mean, obviously you could use groups for that as well, but it's just another possibility, and I'm sure map makers will find a lot of uses for that. But that is not all. There's a few other relatively minor things this week. For example, the shulker will no longer teleport if you give it the no AI tag, so that definitely makes it a little easier to mess with. Apparently before it would, and also you can now use the teleportation commands on it. I'm guessing previously it would not listen to that because it can teleport on its own. They also removed something called the arrow of splashing from the creative menu, which was basically just an arrow that I believe did the splash potion effect, and that was it. But I believe you can also still obtain it through alternative means, like perhaps the give command. So it's not removed from the game, just from the creative menu. But also, this is a relatively major one. They made particles faster. So particles are the things like that. They made them run much faster. They increased the limit and the distance they can be. So overall, you should see a bit of a performance improvement whenever particles are on the screen compared to previous versions. Apparently they were entities before, which is a bad idea because that includes a whole lot of extra features that particles really don't need. So that's a very nice change that they've done. I'm glad they did that. Now another thing is, they got rid of the beacons on the end ships that I showed in the last week's snapshot video, and they converted them into pumpkins, which is kind of weird when you think about it, but if you wear a pumpkin helmet, you do get protected from Endermen, so it does make kind of sense for an end ship to have one. I just wonder who's building the end ships that needs the pumpkins, to be honest. We haven't actually seen who actually builds these things. But it's nice that there's more resources. It's definitely becoming more possible to spend time in the end and actually obtain things, with the end ships having resources on them, and so on. And they also put a dragon head on the ship's bow, which is a nice little decorative feature, and I was wondering exactly how you were going to obtain dragon heads. So now we know, unless they change it in the future. And that's pretty much it outside of a few very minor things and bug fixes, but I do have one other thing I'd like to show. Right before I started recording this video, I actually discovered a glitch in Minecraft. It's nothing major, but if you left and right click this logo at the exact same time, so both mouse buttons, then it kind of like loads the world twice, and then you're kind of like in spectator mode, and you just sort of fall through blocks. You can't interact with anything, and yeah. But you can also, if you fly up like this, if you're flying whenever you load the world, then it's basically a no-clip mode. And I could see this being abused for survival-only worlds. In theory, you could no-clip around and look for stuff and pretend that it never happened. And as far as I can tell, it literally is trying to load the world twice. That's why it happens when you click twice. I've already reported the bug, though, so hopefully it gets fixed. It's nothing major, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. I actually found a bug while preparing to record this video. At first, I thought I discovered some sort of secret dev mode where you could load a world straight into spectator mode if you wanted to examine stuff without ever even being a normal player, but I think it's just a bug from how they implemented the new icons. But anyway, that is it for this week's snapshot. Hopefully we'll get some interesting new features with next week. Perhaps we'll finally get to see shields at some point in the near future, but probably not. It's probably going to be a while, but anyway, this has been Kebab799. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to see more, like this video if you liked it, comment if you have anything to say, and I will see you in the next episode.